भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं reading Bhagavatam, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्ठिकी. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Nar Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Shri Vasudev, the author. By regular attendance in the class on the Bhagavatam and rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Bibo. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so currently we are reading the chapter 29, third canto, explanation of devotional service by Lord Kapila Dev. And we are at text number 17. So who would like to begin? Okay, I can read the first one. Mahatam bahumanena dīnānām anukampaya maitriya chaivatmatulyeshu yamena niyamena cha. Mahatam, to the great souls, Bahumanena, with great respect, Dinanam, to the poor, Anukampaya, with compassion, Maitriya, with friendship, Cha also, Eva certainly, Atmatulyesu, to persons who are equals, Yamena, with control of the senses, Niyamena, with regulation, Cha, and translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The pure devotee should execute devotional service by giving the greatest respect to the spiritual master and the acharyas. He should be compassionate to the poor and make friendship with persons who are his equals. But all his activities should be executed under regulation and with control of the senses. And this poor here, it means spiritually poor. I think it will be explained. Let's see. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, it is clearly stated that one should execute devotional service and advance on the path of spiritual knowledge by accepting the Acharya. Acharyopasanam. One should worship an Acharya, a spiritual master who knows things as they are. The spiritual master must be in the disciplic succession from Krishna. The predecessor of the spiritual master are his spiritual master, his grand spiritual master, his great grand spiritual master, and so on. The The predecessors of the spiritual master are his spiritual master, his grand spiritual master, his great grand spiritual master, and so on, who from the disciplic succession of acharyas, who form. It is recommended herewith that all the acharyas be given the highest respect.
Oh, we lost Prabhu.
Oh, the whole Zoom crashed. That's weird.
Yes, Prabhu.
Did it happen to you?
No, Prabhu, we lost you for 1 minute.
Yes, Prabhu. It restarted. Okay, let's continue. It is recommended herewith that all the acharyas be given the highest respect. It is stated, Gurushu Naramati. Gurushu means unto the acharyas, and Naramati means thinking like common man. To think of the Vaishnavas, the devotees, as belonging to a particular caste or community, to think of the acharyas as ordinary man, or to think of the deity in the temple as being made of stone, wood, or metal is condemned. Niyamena. One should offer the greatest respect to the acharyas according to the standard regulations. A devotee should also be compassionate to the poor. This, this, goes, this does not refer to those who are poverty-stricken materially. According to devotional vision, a man is poor if he is not in Krishna consciousness. A man may be very rich materially, but if he is not Krishna conscious, he is considered poor. On the other hand, many acharyas such as Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami used to live beneath trees every night. Superficially, it appeared that they were very poverty-stricken, but from their writings we can understand that in spiritual life they were the richest personalities. A devotee shows compassion to those poor souls who are wanting in spiritual knowledge by enlightening them in order to elevate them to Krishna consciousness. That is one of the duties of a devotee. He should also make friendship with persons who are on an equal level with himself or who have the same understanding that he does. For a devotee, there is no point in making friendship with ordinary persons. He should make friendship with other devotees so that by discussing among themselves they may elevate one another on the path of spiritual understanding. This is called Ishtagoshti. In Bhagavad Gita, there is reference to Bodhayanta Parasparam, discussing among themselves. Generally, pure devotees utilize their valuable time in chanting and discussing various activities of Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya amongst themselves. There are innumerable books such as the Puranas, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and Upanishads, which contain countless subjects for discussion among the two devotees or more. Friendship should be cemented between persons with mutual interest and understanding. Such persons are said to be svajati, of the same caste. The devotee should avoid a person whose character is not fixed in the standard understanding, even though he may be a Vaishnava or a devotee of Krishna. Here is a really important point that we often reference. This svajati part.
This part
If
I
we
guess Nugopal will quote very often, right?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, this was one of my first notes.
Yeah.
What is this of the same caste, Prabhu?
Yeah,
Swajati
same
of the
caste.
same.
Same caste means like similar thinking. That's why
Thinking, okay.
Nugopal encourages us never to associate with ISKCON devotees because we are not Swajati. Because they have some
Yes,
other
Prabhu.
interests.
Correct.
Because they want to please somebody else apart from Prabhupada. They have some ulterior motive. So that's why we don't associate even with the other Ritvik camp also. Because they also apparently they may say Prabhupada, but then they
Okay.
have some ulterior motives also. So it should
Yes,
cement
Prabhu.
friendship among people who are loyal to Prabhupada. That is the idea.
Got it. Yes,
Yes.
Prabhu.
One should steadily control the senses. If his character is not correctly representative, then he should be avoided. One should
Oh,
steadily control the... Yes, Prabhu.
sorry, bro. One question on that. Prabhu, if they are spiritually poor, we should be compassionate to them.
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
these ISKCON camp, some may be innocent. and they may
Yeah.
be spiritually poor also.
Yes.
So
So that's why then
how-
in that case we should give them association. We should not take their association. We should give them
okay,
association.
okay, bro. Understood.
Yes, Prabhu.
Sorry
That is
for
the thing. In
interrupting.
that
Thank
case,
you.
if they are spiritually innocent, then we give them our association and then we try to tell them what is the right thing to do.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yes, Prabhu. Okay.
One should steadily control the senses and the mind and strictly follow the rules and regulations, and he should make friendship with persons of the same standard. Haribol. Okay, who wants to read next?
I can read, bro.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
आध्यात्मिकानुश्रवणान् नाम सङ्कीर्तना च मे आर्जवेनार्यसङ्गेन निरहङ्क्रियाय तथा Adhyatmika, spiritual matters, Anushravanat, from hearing, Nama Sankirtanat, from chanting the holy name, Cha, and me, my, Arjavena, with straightforward behavior, Arya Sangena, with association of saintly persons, Nirahankriyaya, without false ego, Tata, thus. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Prabhupada, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. A devotee should always try to hear about spiritual matters and should always utilize his time in chanting the holy name of the Lord. His behavior should always be straightforward and simple. And although he is not envious but friendly to everyone, he should avoid the company of persons who are not spiritually advanced. Purport. In order to advance in spiritual understanding, one has to hear from authentic sources about spiritual knowledge. One can understand the reality of spiritual life by following strict regulative principles and by controlling the senses. To have control, it is necessary that one be non-violent and truthful, refrain from stealing, abstain from sex life, and possess only that which is absolutely necessary for keeping the body and soul together. One should not eat more than necessary. He should not collect more paraphernalia than necessary. He should not talk unnecessarily with common men. And he should not follow the rules and regulations without purpose. He should follow the rules and regulations so that he may actually make advancement. There are 18 qualifications mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, among which is simplicity. One should be without pride. One should not demand unnecessary respect from others. And one should be non-violent. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa. One should be very tolerant and simple. One should accept the spiritual master and one should control the senses. These are mentioned here and in Bhagavad Gita as well. One should hear from authentic sources how to advance in spiritual life. Such instruction should be taken from the Acharya and should be assimilated. It is especially mentioned here, Nama Sankirtana Cha. One should chant the holy name of the Lord, holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Either individually or with others. Lord Chaitanya has given special stress to chanting of these holy names of the Lord as the basic principle of spiritual advancement. You can scroll on, Prabhu. Another word used here is arjavena, meaning without diplomacy. A devotee should not make plans out of self-interest. Of course, preachers sometimes have to make some plan to execute the mission of the Lord under proper guidance. But regarding personal self-interest, a devotee should always be without diplomacy, and he should avoid the company of persons who are not advancing in spiritual life. Okay. Another word is Arya. Aryans are persons who are advancing in knowledge of Krishna consciousness as well as in material prosperity. The difference between the Aryan and non-Aryan, the Sura and the Asura, is in their standards of spiritual advancement. Okay. Association with persons who are not spiritually advanced is forbidden. Lord Chaitanya advised Asat Sangha Tyaga. One should avoid persons who are attached to the temporary. Asat is one who is too materially attached, who is not a devotee of the Lord, and who is too attached to women or enjoyable material things. Such a person, according to Vaishnava philosophy, is a persona non grata. So, on avoiding diplomacy, how should we take it for when we preach from? Because in preaching, unless we are diplomatic, we cannot sell the books or communicate the philosophy. Right? How to be straightforward without, making them feel like they are not part of the conversation. Like when I say diplomacy, it's more like praising them and then putting them comfortable so that they can be in a position to hear what I'm going to say. So there is always this exchange of pleasantry words. Without diplomacy.
So I think
think
here it is said
Yes,
for
Personal.
personal self-interest, one should not be diplomatic. But for execution of the plan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sometimes we need to make adjustments
With
like that.
under
But for
proper guidance.
personal self-interest, one should be simple as child.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I think it's like that. If you're diplomatic, like trying to get a better position in the temple or something like that, some personal benefit, then that's wrong. But in diplomatic, in giving Krishna consciousness, then that should be okay.
Got it, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. What's to need next?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
See, because here it is also said the meaning of the word itself, diplomacy, skill of managing international relations, and it's skill of managing relations. So it's needed, of course.
Yes, Prabhu. Not for the personal self-interest, but for the teaching
Yes.
of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission.
Oh, it continues. Did we read this
Okay.
last part?
Oh, yes, Prabhu. I'll read the last part. A devotee should not be proud of his acquisitions. The symptoms of a devotee are meekness and humility. Although very spiritually advanced, he will always remain meek and humble, as Kaviraja Goswami and all the other Vaishnavas have taught us by personal example. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught that one should be humbler than the grass on the street and more tolerant than a tree. One should not be proud or falsely puffed up. In this way, one will surely advance in spiritual life. Reward. Thank you, Prabhu.
Wants to be next?
I can get through
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
text 90. मद्धर्मणो गुणैते परिसां पुरुषस्येति श्रुतमात्रगुणं हिमां synonyms dharmanah of my devotee gunai with the attributes ete it is parisamshuddha completely purified asya consciousness purushasya of a person anjasa instantly abhyeti approaches shruta by hearing matra simply gunam quality he certainly mam me translation purport by John Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. When one is fully qualified with all these transcendental attributes, and his consciousness is thus completely purified, He is immediately attracted simply by hearing my name or hearing of my transcendental quality. Purport. In the beginning of this instruction, the Lord explained to his mother that Madgana Shruti Matrena, simply by hearing the name, quality, form, etc. of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is immediately attracted. A person becomes fully qualified with all transcendental qualities by following the rules and regulations. As recommended in different scriptures, we have developed certain unnecessary qualities by material association, and by following the above process, we become free from that contamination. To develop transcendental qualities, as explained in the previous verse, one must become free from these contaminated qualities. Text 20. यथावत् रथो घ्राणम् अवृङ्क्ते गन्ध अश्ययत् एवं योगरतं चेता आत्मानम् अविकार्यत् yatha as vata of air, ratha the chariot, granam a sense of small, avrinte catches gandha aroma asyat from the source, evam similarly yogaratam engaged in devotional service, cheta consciousness, atman the supreme soul, avikari unchanging yet which translation. As the chariot of air carries an aroma from its source and immediately catches the sense of smell, similarly, one who constantly engages in devotional service in Krishna consciousness can catch the Supreme Soul who is equally present everywhere. Purport. As a breeze carrying a pleasant fragrance from a garden of flowers at once captures the organ of smell, so one's consciousness saturated with devotion can at once capture the transcendental existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is his Paramatma feature is present everywhere, even in the heart of every living being. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Kshetrajna, present within this body, but he is also simultaneously present in every other body. Since the individual soul is present only in a particular body, he is altered when another individual soul does not cooperate with him. The super soul, however, is equally present everywhere. Individual souls may disagree, but the super soul being equally present in every body is called unchanging or avikari. This individual soul, when fully saturated with Krishna consciousness, can understand the presence of the super soul. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that Bhaktya Mamapi Janati, a person saturated with devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead either as Super Soul or as the Supreme Person. Text 21. Aham sarveshu bhuteshu bhutatmavastita sada tam avignaya martya kurute racha vidam vanam. Aham, I, Sarveshu, in all Bhuteshu, living entities, Bhut, Atma, the Super Soul in all beings, Avastita, situated, Sada, always Tam, that Super Soul, Avajnaya, disregarding Mam, me, Martya, a mortal man, Kurute, performs Archa of worship of the deity, Vidambanam, imitation. Translation. I am present in every living entity as the Supersoul. If someone neglects or disregards that Supersoul everywhere and engages himself in the worship of the deity in the temple, that is simply imitation. Purport. In purified consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one sees the presence of Krishna everywhere. If therefore one only engages in deity worship in the temple and does not consider other living entities, then he is in lowest grade of devotional service. One who worships the deity in the temple and does not show respect to others is a devotee on the material platform, in the lowest stage of devotional service. A devotee should try to understand everything in relationship with Krishna and try to serve everything in that spirit. To serve everything means to engage everything in the service of Krishna. If a person is innocent and does not know his relationship with Krishna, an advanced devotee should try to engage him in the service of Krishna. One who is advanced in Krishna consciousness can engage not only the living being but everything in the service of Krishna. Text 22. यो मां सर्वभूतेषु शान्तम् आत्मानम् ईश्वरं हित्वाचरं भजते मूढयद्भसाम्य एव जुहोति सः यः one who मां me सर्वेषु in all bhuteshu living entities santam being present atmanam the Paramatma Ishwaram the Supreme Lord Hitva disregarding Archam the deity Vajate worships Maudhyat because of ignorance Bhasmani into ashes Eva only Juhoti offers oblations Saha he translation one who worships the deity of Godhead in the temples but does not know that the Supreme Lord as Paramatma is situated in every living entity's heart must be in ignorance and is compared to one who offers oblations into ashes. Purport. It is stated clearly that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his plenary expansion as Super Soul, is present in all living entities. The living entities have 8.4 million different kinds of bodies, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is living in every body as the individual soul and as the super soul. Since the individual soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, in that sense the Lord is living in every body. And as super soul, the Lord is also present as a witness. In both cases, the presence of God in every living entity is essential. Therefore, persons who profess to belong to some religious sect but do not feel the presence of Supreme Personality of Godhead in every living entity and everywhere else are in the mode of ignorance. If without this preliminary knowledge of the Lord's omnipresence everywhere, one simply attaches himself to the rituals in a temple, church, or mosque, it is as if he were offering butter into ashes rather than into fire. One offers sacrifices by pouring clarified butter into a fire and chanting Vedic mantras, but even if there are Vedic mantras and all conditions are favorable, if the clarified butter is poured on ashes, then such a sacrifice will be useless. In other words, a devotee should not ignore any living entity. The devotee must know that in every living entity, however insignificant he may be, even in an ant, God is present. And therefore, every living entity should be kindly treated and should not be subjected to any violence. In modern civilized society, slaughterhouses are regularly maintained and supported by a certain type of religious principle. You can scroll down, Prabhu. But without knowledge of the presence of God in every living entity and any so-called advancement of human civilization, either spiritual or material, it is to be understood as being in the mode of ignorance. Text 23. Dvishata parakaye mam manino bhinna darshanai bhuteshu bhatta varshaya naman shantim richati dvishata sata of one who is envious, parakaye, towards the body of another, mam, unto me, mani na, offering respect, binna darshana, of a separatist, bhuteshu, towards living entities, baddha vairasya, of one who is inimical, na, not, mana, the mind, shantim, peace, richati, attains. Translation. One who offers me respect but is envious of the bodies of others and is therefore a separatist never attains peace of mind because of his inimical behavior towards other living entities. Purport. In this verse, two phrases, Bhuteshu Bhattavairasya, inimical towards others, and Dvishata Parakaye, envious of another's body, are significant. One who is envious of or inimical towards others never experiences any happiness. A devotee's vision, therefore, must be perfect. He should ignore bodily distinctions and should see only the presence of the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and the Lord Himself in His plenary expansion as Super Soul. That is the vision of a pure devotee. The bodily expression of a particular type of living entity is always ignored by the devotee. It is expressed herein that the Lord is always eager to deliver the conditioned souls who have been engaged within material bodies. Devotees are expected to carry the message or desire of the Lord to such conditioned souls and enlighten them with Krishna consciousness. Thus, they may be elevated to the transcendental spiritual life, and the mission of their lives will You can scroll down, Prabhu. Be successful. Of course, this is not possible for living entities who are lower than human beings. But in human society, it is feasible that all living entities can be enlightened with Krishna consciousness. Even living entities who are lower than a human can be raised to Krishna consciousness by other methods. For example, Shivananda Sena, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, delivered a dog by feeding him prasada. Distribution of prasada or remnants of foodstuffs offered to the Lord, even to the ignorant masses of people and to animals, gives such living entities the chance for elevation to Krishna consciousness. Factually, it happened that the same dog, when met by Lord Chaitanya at Puri, was liberated from the material condition. It is especially mentioned here that a devotee must be free from all violence, jiva himsa. Lord Chaitanya has recommended that a devotee not commit violence to any living entity. Sometimes the question is raised that since vegetables also have life and the devotee takes vegetable foodstuffs, isn't that violence? Firstly, however, taking some leaves, twigs, or fruit from a tree or a plant does not kill the plant. Besides that jiva himsa means that since every living entity has to pass through a particular type of body according to his past karma, although every living entity is eternal, he should not be disturbed in his gradual evolution. A devotee has to execute the principles of devotional service exactly as they are, and he must know that however insignificant a living entity may be, the Lord is present within him. A devotee must realize this universal presence of the Lord. Text 24. Aham uchavai vaichair dravyai kriyayotpanna yanabhe naiva tushe rachito rachyam bhuta grama manai mananina. Aham, I, Uvichai, with various dravyai, paraphernalia, kriyaya, by religious rituals, Panaya accomplished Anage, O sinless mother, not Eva certainly, Tushe and pleased, Archita worshipped, Archayam in the deity form, Bhutagrama to other living entities, Avamanina with those of who are disrespectful. Translation: My dear mother, even if he worships with proper rituals and paraphernalia, a person who is ignorant of my presence in all living entities never pleases me by the worship of my deities in the temple. Purport. There are
Nice.
60. Yes, purport. There are 64 different prescriptions of worship of the deity in the temple. There are many items offered to the deity, some valuable and some less valuable. It is prescribed in the Bhagavad Gita, if a devotee offers me a flower, a leaf, some water, or a little fruit, I will accept it. The real purpose is to exhibit one's living devotion to the Lord. The offerings themselves are secondary. If one has not developed loving devotion to the Lord and simply offers many kinds of foodstuffs, fruits, and flowers without real devotion, the offering will not be accepted by the Lord. We cannot bribe the personality of Godhead. He is so great that our bribery has no value, nor has he any scarcity since he is full in himself. What can we offer him? Everything is produced by him. We simply offer to show our love and gratitude to the Lord. This is gratitude of and love of God is exhibited by pure devotee who knows that the Lord lives in every living entity. As such, temple worship necessarily includes distribution of prasada. It is not that one should create a temple in his private apartment or a private room, offer something to the Lord and then eat. Of course, that is better than simply cooking foodstuffs and eating without understanding one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. People who act in this manner are just like animals. But the devotee who wants to elevate himself to the higher level of understanding must know that the Lord is present in every living entity. And as stated in the previous verse, one should be compassionate to other living entities. A devotee should worship the Supreme Lord, be friendly to persons who are on the same level, and be compassionate to the ignorant. One should exhibit his compassion for ignorant living entities by distributing prasada. Distribution of prasada to the ignorant masses of people is essential for persons who make offerings to the personality of Godhead. Real love and devotion is accepted by the Lord. Many valuable foodstuffs may be presented to a person, but if the person is not hungry, All such offerings are useless for him. Similarly, we may offer many valuable items to the deity, but if we have no real sense of devotion and no real, you can scroll down, Prabhu, sense of the Lord's presence everywhere, then we are lacking in devotional service. In such a state of ignorance, we cannot offer anything acceptable to the Lord. Text 25. Archadav archayettavat Ishwaram mam swakarmakrit yavanna vedasva hridi sarvabhuteshu avasthitam. Synonyms: Archa Ado, beginning with worship of the deity. Archayet, one should worship. Tavat, so long. Ishwaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mam, me. Swa, his own. Karma, prescribed prescribed duties, Krit performing, Yavat as long as, not Veda, he realizes, Swaridhi in his own heart, Sarva Bhuteshu in all living entities, Avasthitam situated. Translation: performing his prescribed duties, one should worship the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead until he realizes my presence in his own heart and in the hearts of other living entities as well. Purport: worship of the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is prescribed herewith even for persons who are simply discharging their prescribed duties. There are prescribed duties for the different classes of men: the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas, and the Shudras, and the four different ashramas: Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. One should worship the deity of the Lord until one appreciates the presence of the Lord in every living entity. In other words, one should not be satisfied simply by discharging his duties properly. He must realize his relationship and the relationship of all other living entities with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he does not understand this, then even though he discharges his prescribed duties properly, it is to be understood that he is simply laboring without profit. The word Swakarmakrit is in this verse is very significant. Swakarmakrit is one who engages in discharging his prescribed duties. It is not that one who has become a devotee of the Lord or who engages in devotional service should give up his prescribed duties. No one should be lazy under the play of devotional service. One has to execute a devotional service according to his prescribed duties. Swakarmakrit means that one should discharge the duties prescribed for him without neglect. Thank you, Prabhu. If someone wants to continue.
Oh, thank you so much,
Oh,
Prabhu.
what is the prescribed duties from? If you can scroll up, prescribed duties without neglect. Just because he is devotional service, then we should.
Yes, Prabhu, where it is. It is not that
So-
one who has become devotee of the Lord or who engages in devotional service should give up his prescribed duties. No one should be lazy under the plea of devotional service. One has to execute devotional service according to his
According to his
prescribed
prescribed
duties.
duties.
Yes, Prabhu. I think for us it's preaching the prescribed duty.
Yes, bro.
Yes, Prabhu. But for some it might be working in somewhere. It's whatever the Siksha Guru has told him to do. That's his
Okay.
prescribed duty.
Okay, got it, bro.
But mainly for everyone, it's preaching of the devotees.
Yes, bro. You shouldn't give up. Yes.
Wants
So
to read next.
Prabhu, I need somewhat.
But Prabhu?
Okay. May I read?
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
आत्मनश्च परश्चापि यः करोत्यन्धरोदरं तस्य भिन्नदृशमृत्यु विदते भयमुल्बणम् Atmana of himself and parasya of another appear also. Yes, Lord, little scroll down, Prabhu. Yes. One who cannot discriminate antara between udram, the body, tasya of him, when this having a different shade outlook. Mrityu as death with with the I cause bhayam fear udbharam great As the blazing fire of death, I cause great fear to whoever makes the least discrimination between himself and the other divinities because of a different outlook. But there are bodily differentiation among all varieties of divinities, but a devotee should not distinguish between one divinity and another on such a basis. Devotees' outlook should be that both the soul and the super soul are equivalent in all varieties of divinity. Athamam sarvabhutesu bhutanam krittalayam arhayehanamanyanam maitya vinnena chakshasa arthedadanamanena arthadanamanavyam maitya vinnena chakshasa atha therefore me sarvabhutesu in all creature bhin uh, yes, write it down properly. Bus. Bhuta Atmanam, the self in all beings. Kritanyam, avoiding Arhayet, one should propitiate. Tanmanabhyam, through charity and respect. Maitya, through friendship. Abhinena, equally jaksa by women. Therefore, through charitable gifts and attention as well as through friendly behavior and by winning all to be alike, one should propitiate me who abide in all creatures as their very self. But it should not be misunderstood that because the super soul is dwelling within the heart of a living entity, the individual soul has become equal to him. The equality of super soul and the individual soul is misconceived by the impersonalist. Here it is distinctly mentioned that the individual soul should be recognized in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The method of worshipping the individual soul is described here as either giving charitable gifts or behaving in a friendly manner, free from any separate outlook. The impersonalist sometimes accepts a poor man, a poor individual soul as being Taridra Narayana, meaning that Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has become poor. This is a contradiction. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in all opulence. He can agree to live with a poor soul or even with an animal, but this does not mean make him good. There are two Sanskrit words used here, seva and daya. Seva indicates the superior, and daya indicate one who gives charitable gifts or it is compassionate towards an inferior. We cannot treat the Supreme Personality of Godhead as an inferior who is dependent on our charitable gifts. When we give charity, it is to a person who is inferior in his material or economic condition. Charity is not given to a rich man. Similarly, it is explicitly stated here that Man, respect is offered to a superior, and charity is offered to an inferior. The reality is according to different results of productive activities may become poor or rich, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unchangeable. He is always full in six opulence. Treating a living entity equally does not mean treating him as one would treat like Jasper's called the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Compassion and friendliness is not necessary falsely elevating someone to the exalted position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should not at the same time misunderstand that the super soul situated in the heart of an animal like a hog su- and the super soul situated in heart of enlightened Brahma are different. The super soul in all living entities is the same supreme personality of Godhead by his omnipotency. He can live everywhere and anywhere and dif- eh, everywhere, anywhere and where he can create his Vaikuntha situation everywhere. That is his inconceivable potency. Therefore, when Narayana is doing that of a hog, he does not become a hog Narayana. He is always Narayana and is unaffected by the body of the hog. Jiva Sreshta
Oh, once
Jivana.
again, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Manu Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare
All
Krishna,
glories to
Manu
Srila
Prabhu,
Prabhupada.
please accept my obeisance. All Krishna Prabhupada. How are you feeling now?
Yes, Prabhu, how are you doing?
Bro, these doctors, they're trying to figure it out, bro.
Are you in the hospital
Simply, they're
still?
just trying. Yeah, bro, I'm still in the hospital, bro.
What happened actually?
Oh, bro, you know the hemoglobin level, bro.
Yeah,
Usually that
hemoglobin.
level, usually hemoglobin it should be 14.
Okay.
So when I came back to America, my mom saw my legs, black and swollen.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's like, you go to the ER. So
Okay.
so she once I went to the ER, they saw my hemoglobin was a 6.7.
Wow.
So it was pretty bad, like organ failure type of level.
Mm.
So
Oh.
that part they're just trying to figure it out.
Yes, Prabhu. When did this? Do you remember when did it start? And are you feeling now like, are you feeling stronger or like weaker after being there?
So
How is the health
I would
now?
have to say it started with the um, when I was in Philippines. Actually, there was like some flood, and it infected my legs because there was like sewage water in there,
Hmm.
and my toes had like cuts in there and everything. So that water went